Okay, looks like the timer is about to count down, so I might as well get things started. I hope everyone's well. This is the first live stream I've been able to do since let me think, going back to November, I believe it was. Oh, bear with me. Yeah, that live stream got shut down after about 20 minutes or so. Copyright infringement, so immediately I was hit with another ban on live streaming for 3 months. That's finally expired, so I'm. This is not going to be doing this stream for too long, maybe half hour, just to have a warm up for any future streams I might do. I've not got much prepared. A couple of things I might look at. A couple of people in the chat. Russell Jameson, hi, thanks for joining. And Amazing Grace. Anyone might have caught Grace's recent video. I did a chat with her and the UK critical thinker. I might be able to put a link in the description. Bear with me. Russell was asking my thoughts on the Prince Phillip crash that happened recently. Got to say a couple of things. Firstly, I don't believe Prince Phillip drives himself anywhere. I expect he's got like a whole team of chauffeurs that look after his stuff. Secondly, I am curious whether Philip's even still with us. Right. Okay, I am putting in the live chat a link to a chat I did with Grace a little while back. And UK critical thinker, two YouTubers I very much enjoy the work of. Russell or anyone else watching, what are your thoughts on the Prince Phillip crash? I did see, I did catch some on a web page where they claim that Phillip was blinded by the sun. Eamon Pudama, thanks for joining. Perhaps it was the ghost of Diana getting revenge? Possibly, although is Diana even dead? Was Diana even alive, or was it just someone wearing a wig and a dress? Who knows? Yeah, apparently Phillip was driving the very next day without a seatbelt, according to Grace. I don't doubt that. It's got to be, in my book, an event that they... yeah, I'm going to probably say a staged event with... Who knows why they bring this stuff out. A load of... Yeah, I agree, Russell. A load of bollocks, just trying to work out the agenda as to why they would do it. Pushing the legal age of driving, who knows? I wouldn't... yeah. Anyone think it's... I remember, I think it was last year they claimed Prince Phillip passed on. No, they claimed that he retired from public duties, whatever public duties that is, going on holiday, smashing a few wine bottles against boats and opening things and being rude to people around him. I wondered if perhaps in that time he died, but I think he's been photographed in recent events. But who knows, these people might have lookalikes all over the place. Not sure on that one. But is he still driving at 97? Nah, I don't think so. Not myself. I also caught some about... Let me have a look. It was quite recently about one of the victims wanted an apology. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll bring up a web page on the Daily Fail. This is how they're pushing it. Right, I'll let you see my desktop a minute. Okay, assuming you can see it. Prince Philip was dazzled by the sun. New photographs showed difficult driving conditions at a junction where the Duke of Edinburgh had his crash. Emma Fairweather, 46, who was in the other car, said it was overcast. Department of Transport data shows the sun caused crashes on Britain's road. That is what he saw. Must have been a nightmare driving on that junction, hey? You know, it's probably a load of BS. And there you've got a scene of two cars that could look like they're nearly colliding with each other. The accident happened as Philip pulled out of a side road onto the 60 mile per hour limit A146. His Land Rover collided with a Kia, sending his vehicle tumbling across the road. Huh. No, don't want to see that shite. Oh. Right, where are we going? Okay, I trust everyone can hear the audio okay. I'll just catch up with the chat a minute. J. Russell wonders who carries all this out. Intelligence agencies, military, who knows what other deep state organisations exist. Very true. Perhaps the ones we hear about are just figureheads, distractions. I'm sure there are a lot of... thanks guys, thanks for the feedback on the audio. Glad it sounds alright. I got to think now what I was going to share with you. The name of this live stream is Hidden in Plain Sight, and the reason I called it that was about how sometimes phony fake shows are the truth. Well, they kind of we're told the truth about them, but yeah, they try and hide the lies in plain sight, as it were. Lies in plain sight. Okay. Eamon suggests perhaps it's got something to do with some kind of upcoming legislation, mandatory tests for elderly drivers or something. Wouldn't rule that out, or perhaps they just want a bit of publicity. So I remember the headline when that crash happened was, did they call him the Iron Duke or something silly like that, suggesting that he's indestructible, this 97-year-old gentleman. Maybe it's all the baby's blood they allegedly drink. Who knows? Yeah, right. Well, as I was talking about, hidden in plain sight. We'll go on to that in a minute. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the sitcom On the Buses. It was out in 1980. Well, I think it started in the 60s. There's a reason I'm bringing up On the Buses. I think they repeat it on one of the various TV channels we've got going now. I think it's on Daily Motion. They've got the very first episode of On the Buses. I would like to stream it here, show it on here, but I'm very wary of copyright infringement. So I will take you through a few screenshots of, like I said, the first ever episode. And it's funny, the particular story it tells. Let's see, where are we? Right. Oh, well, first, let me give you a little... Anyone not familiar with On the Buses? According to IMDb, it went from 1969 to 1973. Who's in it? Stephen Lewis played Dog Blakey, who bared a striking resemblance to Adolf Hitler. You had Olive, Anna Karen, Jack, played by Bob Grant. Reg Varney was the star of the show, Stan Butler. And one of my favourite characters in it, because I remember watching it from years ago, was Michael Robbins, who played Arthur. And the reason I liked him was because he reminded me of a family member that I never met. Well, I died when I was a baby, and I only ever saw photos of him. But this gentleman looked an awful lot like him, or like the photos I recall seeing. Yeah, so I always had an affinity. I think On the Buses was always really good at appearing very familiar to what well, certainly to what I saw at home. Right. So yeah, let me talk about this first ever episode. It is available on Daily Motion. I'll put the link in the chat at the end if anyone wants to watch it for themselves. It was apparently recorded on the 14th of the 2nd, 1969. And it gives you the old countdown timer. Starts off with a very typical family. Like we said, we've got Olive, Stan, Mum, and Arthur. You've got the daughter, who's married to Arthur, down in the cough syrup. They make a bit of a reference to the cough syrup. I've got a feeling it might be a reference to people being addicted to over-the-counter medication and how much that goes on. Yeah, Mum tries forcing it on Stan. Yeah, I'm doing these still photos because, like I said, I don't want to get taken down for copyright infringement. Stan goes to work and, as we said, comes across Blakey. Now, in later episodes, this guy here is good mates with Stan, but in this episode he's much more stern, a work colleague. Yeah, Russell says 100% addicted to meds, preconditioning. Well, I don't know whether this is preconditioning, because I think this stuff went on back then just as much as it does now. It's curious how people are defined as drug addicts if they're addicted to a certain kind of medication, but then if someone's on a prescription all their life from the doctor for another health issue, then that's perfectly acceptable. A bit curious. Right, here we are down at the old Luxton District bus depot in London. I'm not sure. I think Luxton is a real place. And this is the Adolf Hitler lookalike, Blakey. Yeah, Amazing Grace. Is it a reflection of the times? I'd go along with that. And still the time, still as it is today. 69, what was that? 79, 89, 99. That was 50 years ago. Has very much changed. Right, anyway, it turns out Jack is like the union leader. Blakey is the inspector, like the boss, always bosses these guys around. And they do a little back and forth where Stan's being ordered into the cab because they won't open the canteen, that's it. Because it's not midday, so Stan's got to have his lunch somewhere. So Blakey's forcing him out of the van. Jack's pushing him back in. And I think this is very much represented how the working man is sort of pushed from between one boss to the other. But like say, Stan is meant to be Jack's mate. Oh, sorry, other way around. Jack is meant to be Stan's mate in later episodes, but here we see once they win their argument against Blakey, Stan turns on Jack, and Jack, this guy, the union leader, turns on his mate Stan and tells him to get out of the van. because they've all got to attend a union meeting about the canteen being open or not. And of course, they all vote to go on strike, except for one person, our man Stan. And when he doesn't vote, he gets some harsh looks from Jack, and he gets some intimidation from the much bigger people. And it's also quite curious how military this uniform is. So I mean, like when strike happens, for example, who is it that really suffers? Is it the unions who, well, I've never belonged to a union, but if I did, I think you have to give them a portion of your wages every month. Or is it the company? Yeah, like I said, he gets literally shoved and bullied into voting along with the strike. Which happens the very next day. I think that this part tells a curious story about striking. We had the coal strikes, we had all sorts of things, postal strikes. To begin with, there's Stan with the cat on his lap, lazing around at home, no work. Life's great. But again, the people that suffer are the normal people, getting absolutely soaking wet in the rain. There's Olive with her cough, so trying to down a bit more cough mixture. And like I said, Stan's very happy, all going great until he gets a phone call being told he has to be on the picket line the very next day at 5 a.m. or something ridiculous hour. And as you can see, his face then drops. I think Arthur gives him a hard time about unions, strikes, whatever. So here we are, 5 o'clock the next morning, or some ridiculous hour, and they're all picketing because they won't open the canteen. That's what they're actually striking against. Where are we going? The press turn up, of course. This is where it gets quite curious. Like we're saying, predicting. So first they're bossing this poor guy around. He's got a strike, no buses. And then the bus depot try and bring a bus out without them, using other drivers. Now, that's what the picket line's for, of course. So they then grab Stan and drag him out to lie down in front of the bus and risk his life. There they are. They force him down onto the ground. Luckily, they don't quite run over him with the bus. And then Stan's mum turns up to check on him. The inspector, of course, the press catch sight of it, and they've got to cover it. And then what happens? It would appear Stan has a bit of red on him. Is that blood from the accident, from being run over? Well, as far as the press are concerned, yes it is. It turns out it's actually only a bottle of sauce or something he had in his pocket. It wasn't really blood, but that doesn't stop the press from doing a phony fake show and showing Stan with his big injury. And then later that day they're watching it on the news. Big new developments in the bus strike. You've got Stan being hit by a bus, but what can these people that take part in these phony fake shows never avoid doing? They look all stern one moment, but they always end it with a bit of duping delight. There he is, he gives his interviews. Mum gets her head in the frame, bit more dupe and delight. And they go back to work the very next day, only to find out that the canteen, of course after this big thing, they get their demands, but then when they go back to work the next day, the canteen staff have all gone on strike, much to the annoyance of these people that start shouting out, lots of abuse at those people that dare to go on strike. And I think that is pretty much it. Reg Varney yeah, and then once again, I think, yeah, these guys, Jack then says, right, no canteen, we're not going out, another strike, try stand down, and we'll repeat the process again. Okay, that was my little overview of the first episode of On the Buses. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll put a link in the description. No, I'll put a link in the live stream if anyone wants to watch it. Bear with me. Yeah, it's called The Early Shifts. Right. Oh no, that's not quite it actually. Well, that will take you there, but... right, here is a link to the actual video. This is assuming any of you are even interested in it. I'll have a look at the chat in a minute. Right.
On the Buses number 1, part 1, production number 0157, recording date 14.
That is the intro into On the Buses, but I don't want to risk it by showing... by showing the footage, if you guys don't mind. Give me something to find. Right, going to the chat. Grace informs us the first UK strike was the miners in 1926. Of course, it came a lot later than that, but Arthur Scargill, he was apparently for the miners, wasn't he? I think, would we say he was controlled opposition? I don't know a huge amount about Arthur Scargill, but... Right, what are we on, guys? This is Gene Cam. Hello, Bobby. Hi, Gene. Thanks for joining us. Talking about old footage, let's see, from On the Buses, that shows that, yeah, oh right, I see, she was just informing Gene where we were going. Yeah, of course, the great thing with YouTube Live is you can go back and catch up. I will probably leave this video open for a little bit, and then I'll take it down, edit out all my moments where I lose my train of thought and whatnot, and then stick it up on either back on YouTube or on 153 News. A couple of places I upload my videos. Let's see. Danke. That is German for thank you, isn't it? I got that. Eamon Pudama asks, do you think there's going to be an action movie about the SAS officer that single-handedly took out all those terrorists in Nairobi? That wasn't Nairobi, that's Kenya. Curious, I hadn't heard that there was a single SAS officer. I thought they sent in a whole team of people to deal with that. I did watch a video by Anaconda Malt Liquor where he covered the footage. I think that's about as close to the news as I got on that one, so I don't know all the ins and outs about it. Russell, as ex-army, the kit and rig was all wrong. Was definitely an act. Okay. This is the Kenya hotel shooting. Interesting. Apparently the SAS person was shopping, jumped in his car, and then single-handedly defused the situation. Yep, makes perfect sense to me. Let's see. I did see something about that Kenya shooting recently, I think. Or maybe it was, could it have been... Yeah, I think it was one of the newspapers saying, could it have been avoided? Well, yeah, they could have hoaxed it on a different day, I suppose. Now, here's another curious thing. I really try and keep away from any discussion on Brexit. I can't stand it. But I happened to catch Theresa May talking the following day after some vote in Parliament had been rejected by the House, and during her speech, I'm sure, she referred to people, the public, as the herd or something, as in a herd of sheep, and then she quickly corrected herself, but it was curious that that bit made the news. I do wonder sometimes in Parliament if they are asked to say stuff. Apparently there was an MP, I don't remember the situation completely, but it was a talk about austerity cuts or something, a cut in welfare, and this female MP had to give a speech on TV where she had to make as many references to genitals as she could. Now, it was something that was covered by the press, so it was probably deliberate, and also as if to say, look, when MPs do start taking the mick out of you, we highlight it, but I don't believe they really do. There was some curious events unfolding in Northern Ireland. The IRA was something I always remember hearing about as a kid. Never knew for sure whether, well, back then I wouldn't have particularly questioned it. But yeah, there is some footage of a car bomb. Eamon, Nairobi is the capital of Kenya. Yeah, I was aware of that actually, believe it or not. Not that I've ever been to Kenya. Right. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to share with you. This stream has been going on for about half an hour now. I did say I would keep it to about half an hour. Russell Jamieson, all Brexit shenanigans, more divide and conquer, keep us fighting amongst ourselves. I think you're absolutely right. What they're doing is, whenever they talk about a deal, what they mean is, how much money can we give our mates in Europe for us to leave, or some rubbish like that. Whatever happens, it will involve the taxpayer having to give a huge sum of money to some very wealthy people. That will be the outcome of Brexit, in my opinion, and that is why I can't follow it on the news. I just get bored. I mean, I did do a quick search for the video where Theresa May referred to people as the herd, but I couldn't find it. But I did have to watch a few minutes of Parliament, and it was painful. And then I think I accidentally hit something about a House of Lords vote, and my goodness, is the House of Lords beautifully decorated compared to the House of Commons. Grace suspects Brexit was devised to put out the fire of immigration. Now we've become accustomed to living with Europeans, a Brexit deal will be. It's so infuriating that we'll want to stay. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure. Well, who knows? Do we think the actual Brexit vote was fixed? Okay, an impending financial catastrophe is on its way, Russell is suggesting. And Brexit, yeah, any excuse to tell the public that we're in recession, we're skint, no one's allowed pay rises, they're going to cut funding to valuable services. Of course, we're leaving Europe, so everyone's skint, aren't they? There's always a way of fleecing the taxpayer out of money that they've paid out from taxes. What a load of... It's a disgrace. Right, this was a warm-up live stream, actually. Well, this is a warm-up live stream. I will be coming back with more soon. I've got a few people... Oh, the cat's trying to jump on the keyboard. I'm not going to let that happen. Let's just see. Russell says it's 100% fixed Brexit, probably planned 20 years ago. That was a point, actually. Speaking of things that were planned years ago, I did come across a video, which I'm sure the person wouldn't mind me sharing. Nothing to do with Brexit or anything. Let me see if I can find it. 1 second. I think it's about... I won't play the whole thing, but it's really interesting. What's the channel? Let me see. Where was it? Right, 1 minute. Okay. Insane predictive programming from the 1800s. It is by a channel...
Hello, everyone. Well,
it is a channel called Flat Earth Brothers. They cover more than just the flat Earth or the shape of the Earth, but this video was really curious, I thought. Maybe some of you have already caught it. Right. If we've still got anyone watching, I will just play it now. Yep, still got a few people going. Right, where were we? Yeah, Grace says absolutely fixed, but reflected the feelings of those likely to make a fuss. Yeah, Russell, you cheered me up. You're basically thanking me, but now here I am extending my live stream. It won't be long. This isn't a particularly long video. And of course you guys can check out anytime you want and come back and catch the rest of it if you need to. So I'm going to play this now and let me know what you think. Here it is.
And it has to do with what most of you know of as predictive programming, and we have thought that this is sort of a newer phenomenon that happens now, where they put things like in Simpsons shows that happen with the presidency and the Twin Towers and all of these things that we see, and it's pretty much just the plan of these Luciferians that run things, their little plan, and they put it out there. They can put it in stone like the Georgia Guidestones and nobody bats an eye, but we see these things happen all the time. This little story here, though, that I'm about to share with you, I found on Facebook from, I guess it was Young Dre, I don't know who that is, posted this initially, and it's freaky, and we're going to dig into it. I just want to go through it real fast, get your thoughts, and find out if this is an actual book. It appears to be, and I'm going to read this. I'm going to narrate this to you so you can hear it. You don't have to read it, but you can read along if you want to. And it says here, the person said, "So, I'm on the Office of Congress Library website and came across this book written in 1893. Look at the title." Probably can't see it because it's very low quality, but I'll zoom in on it. It says, Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. Baron Trump. Doesn't seem to really ring a bell, probably, unless you're familiar with the fact that the book is about a boy, of course, named Baron Trump, and he found a secret portal and time travel. But that's not the crazy part. Hashtag wait for it. Baron Trump is Donald Trump's son. Okay? Looks a lot like the boy on the cover, if you look at them. They look a lot alike. And remember, this was written in the 1800s. Okay? But it says, in the book, Baron Trump had a mentor he looked up to, named, guess what? Don. This crap gets even better. And all the crap in the book takes place in Russia. Guess who's from Russia? Melania Trump. She's from Russia.
Oh, I will make a point here. Melania Trump is not from Russia. Novo Mesto is actually Slovenia, as it says here. Slovenia was formerly part of Yugoslavia, never part of Russia, to my knowledge. Anyway, I'll let this gentleman continue.
Well, there was a sequel to this book 4 years later, in 1896, the same author writes this sequel, and he calls it The Last President. And this is when it gets real. The Last President. Okay? It's about a very wealthy man who lived in New York on Fifth Avenue, who ran for president, but wasn't expected to win. Look where Trump Tower's address is. Fifth Avenue, New York. It's crazy. Somebody tell me this is not based on this book. There's no way that's in the book. I'm going to have to look into this. But if it's really in that book, because the person told us, hey, look into it yourself, I would really like to see that. That's pretty crazy. But it says, remember, this book was written over 124 years ago. But anyways, after his inauguration, he started picking people for his cabinet. And guess who was one of the people? The guy's name was, he was in agriculture. It was Lafayette Pence. P-E-N-C-E. Pence. Mike Pence. God, that is crazy. I couldn't believe I was reading this. Whoever put this together and figured this or found this, props to you. This is pretty cool. Pretty.
Okay, that's where I'm going to end it. Oh, careful. Like I said, the video channel is. There's a link to that video in the live chat now. If you want to catch the rest of it, really interesting, I think. I'll just catch up the chants. Iman Pudama is talking about the Romanians he works with. I've got to say, whether the person's Romanian, Polish, who knows? Yep. You can get you don't need me to say, you get lots of pleasant people from all over the place, and you can equally get lots of people who have pains in their backside. Grace, I've never heard of this book, so how can it be argued they predict and precondition of those things if we never read them? That's true. I mean, I don't know how recent that book is. Apparently it goes back to the 18-something or other. I guess the point you're making is it's not preconditioning, but is it suggesting this is where the elite get their plans from, or is it just a very long, far-sighted hoax that was devised years ago? I mean, take the moon landings, for example. I believe there was a book by there was a book by Philip K. Dick about Martians. My other cat's trying to come out now. About a person called Elon taking us to Mars. I think it was Philip K. Dick. And when you look it up, it's actually classed as a scientific work rather than science fiction. A bit wacky. And also I think there was a book written by someone, not 100% sure who, where the moon landings with Neil Armstrong and how all that went was also written about in a science fiction story. Yeah, Russell Jameson, it is crazy and shows how far in advance this is all planned out. Okay, I'm going to start wrapping up. I've been going on for nearly 45 minutes now, although the first few minutes were silence. So thank you to anyone who's sat through it with me from beginning to end. Amazing Grace, Russell Jameson, Iman Pudama, Jean Cam. Also got a cat on the desk. Well, this particular cat was a stray. It was living under a van out the front of our house for ages and gradually got our attention, and it started trying to eat our cat's food, and then we gave it a bowl of its own, and it's gradually over the months come in and living with us now. It does seem to have some nervous condition where it's shaking an awful lot, and it's got all sorts of problems with its fur, but it's really nice it's a really nice cat to hug, you know. Thanks Russell, thanks Grace, thanks Eman. Eman, do I pronounce your name correctly? Pudama, I'm guessing. Jean Cam, everyone who commented, that is everyone who commented, I think. And anyone who didn't commented and just turned up and watched. I appreciate it. I will be coming back in the future with some more videos. Yes, providing I don't get hit with a strike. Dutch137, that's how our cat adopted us, Bobby, 10 years ago. Yeah, so we've got another cat which we took from a family. We did take, a family wanted to get rid of their cat because it kept jumping into the baby's cot. And I got a feeling the reason it was doing that, because we went round to look at it, to see the cat, and it was you could tell its reaction to someone actually giving it attention. So obviously the cat sees the baby's getting all the attention, or the baby's crib's getting all the attention. Well, let's get in there. Oh, Eamon. Okay, it's a made-up name. That's how I would pronounce it. Yes, I wonder if it's an anagram. We won't go there. Oh, mean something or other. Mean. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to work that one out. Yeah, as I was saying. Oh, hi, sweet baby kitten. Thanks for joining us. Cat talk. Yeah, I've gone on to that now. I was going to sign off, but my cat started knocking stuff over and trying to come in the room, so I brought that one up. Yeah, it's a really nice cat, actually. I am over on Twitter, actually. Perhaps I'll share a link. Perhaps I'll post some pictures there if anyone's interested in it. I will put a link to my Twitter account in the live chat. And yeah, like I said, I'll share some pictures of my cats if anyone's interested. Well, the one I was just talking about, the one that was living under a van and has nervous issues, is we call Poppy. Our other cat that we took from 6 months old from the family that didn't want, that didn't let the cat jump into the crib. But we've had that one years. That's Tom. And there's another cat that came over all malnutritioned. But I think it goes to about 3 houses. We're one of her houses, and that one we got a few names for. I call her Fudge because of the colour of her fur. But yeah. Right, yes, cats all day. Gene, the guy who you say does great videos. What is that guy called? I think I can. Eamon, a palindrome. Is that what it's an anagram of, is it? Brilliant. I don't actually know. Oh, a palindrome, I'm not sure what that is. Maybe I should look it up. No, it's not a palindrome. That's something that reads both backwards and forwards. Well, perhaps it is in a way. Okay. Thank you for educating me. I think I had come across that word before. Andromeda. Oh, yeah. Andromeda. That was the name of a planet in Star Wars, wasn't it? Or Star Trek. And also one of the nearest stars to us. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Gene, you got 2 cats as well. He has a name like a snake. Who has? Yeah, I wonder if I'm just catching these comments halfway through a conversation. Who has a name like a snake? It sounds like it. You got Tom, Fudge, and Poppy. Oh, Anaconda. Oh, right. Okay, guys. I'm struggling to keep up with the chat now, and that's worrying for me. The guy you plugged, Anaconda Malt Liquor. I mentioned him earlier, talking about his Kenyan video. Great videoer, a great YouTuber. Dutch137, you missed the start. Yeah, no problem. I'll keep this video up for a little while, and like I said, then I'll put it. Then I'll probably edit it and put it up on either 153 or here. If you guys are after a link to Anaconda Malt Liquor, I can certainly help there. I'll put one in the chat, although most of his channels have gone down now. I think he has got... Oh, he's got a couple. Right, nope, not that one. This one. Anaconda Malt Liquor 15. Right. Does anyone watch Fisher of Men? Yes, I've certainly come across him. I think. I have a name like a return journey. Back. Yeah, I'm curious about your name, Eamon. Name backwards, obviously. A made-up name. Got it, finally. A palindrome, as you said. Thank you. Right, well, on that victory, I think I'm going to sign out and leave you guys to it. Enjoy the rest of your weekends, what you've got left of it. Thanks again to everyone who chipped in on the chat and stuff. Always great interacting with you guys. I'll be back with some more videos soon. Take it easy, and yeah, Anaconda Malt Liquors, a link to his chat, to his channel is in the live chat. Enjoy it, guys. Have a great evening. Take care.